Welcome back to Bluebonnet News Headlines and Heartlines, the podcast where I sit down with the people shaping our communities, both through the work they do and the values that guide them. I'm Vanesa Brashier, owner and publisher of Bluebonnet News of Texas. Today, I am joined by Judge Chap Cain, who serves as a judge of the 253rd State District Court, overseeing cases in Liberty and Chambers County. District courts handle some of the most serious and complex matters in the Texas judicial system, where decisions carry real, lasting consequences. Judge Cain is currently seeking re-election in the March 3rd, 2026 Republican primary, and today's conversation will focus on the responsibilities of his bench, his approach to justice, and the human side of serving as a district court judge. Judge Cain, thanks for joining me.
Well, good morning, Vanessa.
It's my honor.
It's great to be here with you. It's a rainy day outside.
I know. Hopefully the listeners don't hear all the rain coming down, or maybe some lightning every once in a while. I don't think it's going to be that kind of a rain, but we'll see. So for listeners who may not be familiar with the Texas court system, what type of cases fall under the jurisdiction of the 253rd?
The 253rd is a district court. It's somewhat unique because it is a multi-county district court. Most district courts only sit in one county. This court sits in two counties, both Liberty and Chambers counties. The district court in Texas is the highest level trial court that there is. So if you're involved in a felony criminal matter, felony is the most serious criminal matter, then you're going to end up in a district court. Or the more serious civil cases, and that could include something as mundane as a divorce, although they can sure get pretty bitter sometimes, on up to a dispute regarding title or a dispute between business owners or contracts, and they can be multi-million-dollar disputes, and especially since Chambers County has significant industry. I mean, we have Chevron, Exxon, Targa, Energy
fishing
Transfer.
industry.
Oh yeah, we have some fairly large petrochemical plants and industries and plastic plants, and so sometimes the business litigation over there gets pretty intense. And of course, you have condemnation either for public use or governmental use for pipelines and roads, and our area, as you know, is among the fastest growing in the state of Texas and among the fastest growing in the United States. So with that growth comes increased crime, increased construction, increased business. Yeah, and
traffic.
And that means more traffic in our court system.
Yeah. I failed to give you an opportunity to explain to people how long you've been on the bench and what your trajectory was from you started as an attorney. Where did you go to school?
I went to school at Baylor Law School and graduated. I was born in Liberty, so I've always been here, and we used to spend a lot of our quality time down in Chambers County fishing and playing and hunting. So I've been around this area all my life, and after I got out of Baylor, I got married. My wife and
Stacy.
Yes, Stacy. Wonderful person, and taught school here for years. A lot of people know Stacy. But we moved back here, and I went to work with Judge Zabronic in his law office and practiced for about 6 years.
Zeke Zabronic.
Yes. And practiced for about 6 years, and then decided I really didn't enjoy law practice as much, because you have to take one position or the other, and you may not really feel all that happy with that position, especially in some very serious criminal cases. And I thought, I think I'd rather be a judge where I can listen to both sides, apply the law to the facts, and then make a decision. It just suited my personality better. So when I was 30 years old, I decided to run for the county court at law. The county court at law is a lower court than this. It handles a lot of divorces. It handles misdemeanor criminal cases.
Family law?
A lot of family law, yes. And some civil, up to $100,000 or so at that time. So I ran for that office, and I won, which I took office at 31 years old, which is pretty young.
That is young.
It is. And I served in that court for 8 years. At the end of that 8-year period, Judge Woods, W.G.W. Woods, Judge Woods was a wonderful jurist. He was a former county attorney and a former district attorney here. And he decided to retire. And he was the 253rd District Court judge serving Liberty and Chambers. And so I decided to go ahead, since he retired, to run for that position. And I did. And I had opposition in the primary and in the general election. And I won in Liberty and Chambers. That was 27 years ago. So I've spent the last 27 years in this district court hearing felony criminal cases and civil cases.
Okay. And so now you're seeking re-election and you have an opponent in the election. So
that's correct.
I guess you've been opposed before. So
I have been opposed.
Yeah.
About every 8 years, I get an opponent.
Yeah.
So I have an opponent right now. I had an opponent 8 years ago. I had
so you
an
can
opponent
skip
8
one
years
and,
before that. Yes, it's what it kind of how it works out. This is my sixth contested election.
Wow.
Now most of them were primary elections. If you're going to run in Liberty County, you're
generally eliminated by the primary.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So most of these were primary challenges, but one was a general election challenge.
Yeah. And so, how many terms have you served?
I guess I'm completing my ninth term.
Okay.
My ninth term, but 7 of those were district court, 2 of those were county court of law.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna make sure I'm back. My phone dinged. I'm like, oh, I thought I had turned that off. So, how do you prepare for a docket that may include vastly different types of cases?
Well, it depends on. I mean, that's a good question, and that really depends on what kind of cases you have that day. I have a wonderful staff. I mean, I really.
They keep you organized?
Yes, and they try to group the kind of cases, the same type cases. They try to set them the same that day. Like today, normally I would start at 9 o'clock, but today we're not going to start till 10 because I have motions for summary judgment. Basically, the lawyers are saying there's no evidence to support one or more of the elements of the claim, or there's no evidence to support the claim itself. And so it's basically looking at the facts that they've set forth and see if there is a controversy. If there's not, then I'll rule on the case. But that's a lot of paperwork. So normally I would come here early and I'd start reading those motions for summary judgment. Well, since I knew we were going to get to talk today, well, I went ahead and did that yesterday. I read those, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
On criminal cases, we have all hands on deck, the court reporter, the coordinators, and we get the lawyers in. A lot of times we'll have 50 or 60, defendants in there on a criminal docket, whether it's just a regular docket or a trial docket. And then we try to sort out where we are on that case, whether all the discovery's been done, whether the offers have been made, is there a chance to resolve it? If not, then we'll try to move it on to a trial docket. Like yesterday, we had a regular trial docket in the morning in Liberty County and a trial docket, a fairly small one, in Chambers. And since it was a Tuesday, we bring over everybody from the jail who has not had counsel appointed that has a felony criminal case, because we need to make sure they have counsel. Indigent Defense Act requires it, and everybody's entitled to counsel, even if they're too poor to hire counsel, especially if they're too poor to hire counsel. So we had all those people over. I think we ended up disposing of 10 different cases, including first-degree felony, that could include up to a life in prison sentence. And then in Chambers County, I think we did about 4 and appointed attorneys for 7 or 8 people in Liberty, and I think about the same in Chambers. So, you try to put your criminal together because it just coordinates a little bit better, but there are times where we'll mix it up. Sometimes that makes it a little more difficult, but The logistics have a lot to do with how well your staff works.
Does your staff travel with you to the other county?
They do in part.
Okay.
Annette Baldwin is my coordinator here in Liberty.
Okay.
She only works in Liberty.
Okay.
So Annette does not travel.
She stays here.
Yes. Letitia Manning is my coordinator, and she goes to both Liberty and Chambers.
Okay.
So she will travel. Chad O'More is my bailiff, and I don't think there's anybody that doesn't know Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Just a great guy, and he's a bailiff. He makes the world turn around and keeps everybody safe. And a lot of people know him and trust him, if they have concerns or problems, a lot of times he can.
So Chad travels with you to the other court?
Chad does,
okay.
yes. He goes back and forth. And then Joanne Leger is my court reporter. Joanne is a member of the Texas Court Reporters Hall of Fame.
Really? She's
She
that
is
good?
top. Oh, she is that good. She, back before she came to work for me, she was doing real time for one of the television stations over here. I mean,
she's just fast.
She is fast. She's accurate. With Joanne, I have real time on my desk. We don't do it every day, but I can. If I wanted, I can do it every day.
That's helpful, so you can review a statement or something?
Yes, ma'am. And especially like if we were in a murder trial the other day in Chambers County, the Hartsfield trial. And Joanne had a real time throughout the entire trial. She was able to provide real-time copy to the lawyers at their desk if they chose to have it, and they did, I believe. I have it, so if a question is asked, there's an objection, well, then I can, if I need to, and sometimes I do.
Go back and look at it.
Go and I look at it, and it's really, really helpful.
Yeah.
When my first court reporter in the 253rd, she was excellent, but it was back when computers were a little bit newer and real time was almost non-existent. She actually took it down handwritten notes. She would have notepads, and I mean,
it makes my hands hurt just thinking about it.
It was bad. There were some times, at the end of the day, she was just exhausted. Not that Joanne isn't, because she is. You go a long day.
Carpal tunnel.
And she can actually turn out transcripts on a daily basis. Usually, if that happens in some of the bigger cases, they may want it. If they do that, sometimes she'll have to hire another reporter to come in, and they'll switch out, and then she's proofing and then handing it over to them.
Gosh, that's amazing.
It is.
You really, really just respect your staff. I
have a great staff, and they are a large part of my success.
Yeah. So, what role does precedent play in your rulings, and how do you apply it consistently across cases?
Well, it's one of the biggest factors, maybe the biggest factor, because precedent is really the law. You have to follow the law. In a courtroom setting, you have exhibits that are admitted or not. You have testimony, and then you have the law. So what you do is you apply the testimony and the exhibits to the law, and then make a ruling based on that. And the legislature makes most of the law, and you follow it, and it makes sense. There is a floor, though, below which we cannot fall, and that's the Constitution. I mean, we have a constitutional republic. It just curls my toes every time I hear these talking heads on television talking about democracy. We don't have a democracy.
We have a republic.
We have a constitutional republic, because in a true democracy, the majority would tell everybody else what they're going to do. You wouldn't have, a minority would never have
A voice.
Never.
Yeah.
Not in a true democracy.
Yeah.
So a constitutional republic is very important, because there are constitutional rules and laws below which we cannot fall.
And we hope it will always stay that way.
I hope it always will. I hope we always have a free press.
I think we're all a little bit fearful of it.
Yeah, it's scary sometimes. And I hope we always have a right to practice our religion the way we wish. Mm-hmm. Speech, press, and religion are extremely important.
Well, the press is kind of has caused its own demise in some ways, because not all of them can be trusted.
That's very true. You have to.
A lot of the mainstream media, I don't trust them. So I have to be very careful where I get my news.
I agree with you. That's why you ought to look. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, that's why you should search and.
Yeah.
And
Community news, I think you can still count on it for the most part.
I agree. I agree.
So how do you ensure that every person who appears before you, regardless of their background, feels that they received a fair hearing?
Most of the time, what people want is to be listened to. So what you try to do is hear every voice. You know, you hope that everybody has a great lawyer and that their case is properly presented. And since you bring that up, we talked about earlier that everybody in a criminal case has a right to counsel. Well, it's important that they have very good counsel. I have some excellent lawyers that I appoint on these criminal cases, and people are well represented when they have court-appointed counsel. You know, you can have your own private lawyer, and that's great if you can afford it. But the majority of the people in our criminal cases have appointed counsel.
Really?
Yes, and I am very careful to try to have the best lawyers on my court-appointed list, and that's tough.
So you get to have a list.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so you can say, no, I don't want to work with that person because you know that they're not going to serve that defendant well or something.
That's correct, and
Okay.
I want really good counsel out there because that's part of that constitutional right you have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to be properly represented, and
Right.
we do have some excellent lawyers. My court, and there's a lot of reason behind it. About half of my dispositions are criminal cases. Last year, I disposed of about 1,549 felony criminal cases. And Vanesa, that is a lot. Just to kind of put it in perspective, there are 3 district courts in Liberty and Chambers County. The 75th District Court, it serves only Liberty County. The 344th District Court serves only Chambers County. My court, the 253rd, serves Liberty and Chambers. Last year, I had 3,200 dispositions in this court. 3,200. The 75th had 2,200, 1,000 less. And the 344th in Chambers County had 2,200, 1,000 less. And it's not because those judges aren't working, because they are working.
Yeah.
They did a good job. And
well, we did have a gap in the 75th, though, when Moorfield retired, I guess, for a little while. Your court's busy.
Well, we had a gap, but the regional administrative judge, he
appointed
had
people.
Visiting judges in constantly, and then I did everything I could to take care of cases in that court. He also appointed me during that time that Judge Moorfield was out. Judge Moorfield was a very hardworking judge. He was an excellent judge.
Yeah.
But he did have health problems, and then when he retired, everybody filled the gap. And I think it was pretty well filled because the dispositions in that court equaled the 344.
Yeah.
That gives you a pretty good indicator that...
How do you handle such a big caseload?
Well, working hard and you know, experience matters. It really does. I know how to get my docket taken care of. And I will say this, and you can ask the clerk that works in my court if you want. We generally work through lunch here. Because I cannot.
You don't have the time.
I don't have the time. And the problem, if you don't get these cases done, especially these criminal cases, right now the Jail Standards Commission has effectively shut down the Liberty County Jail. Mm-hmm. We have, right now our jail population is about 278, and we have 143 inmates in other jurisdictions that you and I are paying about $100 a day. It's outrageously expensive, but there's nothing we can do about it until that jail gets brought back up to standard. It's costing us a fortune. Chambers County, because of the growth, the jail is overcrowded. Of course, they're building a new jail, and it should be up and running within a year.
Well, we've approved a new architect.
Correct, but you're talking 2-3 years.
Oh, yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
At least. So we're looking at these extensive costs. You know, when you've got 143 inmates out in various places, that means we have to have Sheriff's Department employees
running back and forth.
Attorneys having, you know, I try to bring them in. That's another part of having a great staff. We bring them in if we think we can get them taken care of. But, there's a cost to law enforcement, and if they're out running the roads with an inmate, they can't be protecting you and I. So anyway, it's important that I do concentrate on these criminal cases. And just to put that in perspective,
you want to be able to keep the most serious offenders, but maybe not
true.
the drug users and things that are not just harm to themselves more than anything.
Correct. And we've got a lot of murder cases, aggravated sexual assault of a child.
It's gone up. So it's
gone
disturbing.
Up. It is. And on criminal dispositions in the last reporting year, these are Office of Court Administration statistics from the last compiled year. I disposed of 1,549 criminal cases. The 75th, 711, about half of what I did. In the 344th, 1,049, I did about 500 more than that. So anyway, not taking anything away from those judges because they're excellent. But I know what I'm doing. I'm working hard. I'm burning the candle at both ends because the taxpayers can't afford anything.
And you're a taxpayer.
And I'm a taxpayer, absolutely.
Yeah, I get it. So how do you stay connected to the needs of and the expectations of both counties when you're split this way? Do you see a time when Liberty County will have its own second district court without sharing?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And I asked the legislature to look at it this last session, but they had a lot of irons in the fire and it really was never addressed. The Office of Court Administration does studies on various courts to try to determine when a new court is needed, and their statistics show that we need another court between the two counties, another district court.
Yeah.
So,
that may take years.
It could take years, and for example, if you had that district court here in Liberty County, where are you going to put them? I mean, you can find a place. I sit in an old grocery store in Chambers County, and I've been there the whole time, the whole 27 years. And it's nice. Judge Wilburn kind of designed it. It was designed in the round after the courts in Beaumont. So it was an old grocery store, but it looks like a court, but it isn't right next to the courthouse. And of course, they're building us a new courthouse, and we should move in there. I'll have a beautiful new office in the summer, I think, is when we're going to move in.
Oh, that's nice.
But yes, we need another court between Liberty and Chambers. How the legislature is going to take care of that, I don't know. Whether they'll move the 253rd to one county or the other, whether they'll keep the 253rd between both counties and then add a new court in Liberty.
Yeah.
I'm not real sure, but you're right. We need...
It's growing.
Yeah, and you can't have this kind of docket.
And then have it just continue going upward. There's no way to handle it.
And I will say one thing. Of course, COVID was
that was a setback.
It was a big setback because the courts were effectively shut down. But, if anybody wants to say, well, Judge Cain's working hard, but he's not taking care of the backlog, that would not be true. Mm-hmm. If you look at my cases on my criminal cases, for every criminal case that gets added to my docket, I take care of about 1.5 criminal cases.
Dispose of 1.5.
Yeah, so I'm eating away at my backlog, and I think on civil cases, it for example, on just plain civil, not including divorce and family, I took care of 270%. But the OCA statistics, they bear out that overall, civil and criminal and family, I take care of 1.28 cases for every case that's brought into my court.
Is the caseload impacting a person's right to have a speedy trial?
Yes, it is. It really is. Especially on more serious cases. I tried a murder case a few weeks ago over in Chambers County. It took almost a week, and it brought in national media attention.
Was that the Sarah Harsfeld?
Yes, it was. And in that week of trial, if you divide 3,300 by 52 weeks, I haven't done that math, but
It's pretty astounding.
yeah, it's probably there's probably 50 cases that I didn't get taken care of because I was in trial. So I need to be in trial. I want to be in trial.
But you can only fit so many hours in the day,
So
so
many
many
hours
days in the
day,
week.
and I've got to move these cases through. So.
Yeah. So, does the public have an incorrect perception of the discretion that you have as a district judge? Because sometimes they'll be like, well, he should have thrown the book at them, or he should have given them that. Can you explain your limitations and how you go about assessing a sentence?
I like the state system, especially in criminal law. The judge has wide discretion in sentencing, and I think that's important. When you go to the federal system, those judges they're little parameters within which they have to sentence, and if they deviate from it, it's difficult, and a lot of times they don't or can't.
Liberty County juries are tough.
Liberty County juries are tough. That's one reason. I'm glad you said that. That's one reason I really like jury trials, because it gives me a look into what they would do.
Yeah.
And they're tough.
Yeah, I've seen them get the max.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
In fact,
because they don't want them out in society either.
Correct. The last 2 murder cases I tried, and they've been in the last few months in front of a jury. They gave them life both times
Without the possibility.
One was a capital murder, and they gave the guy was fairly young, and they did give him life, so he has a possibility of parole, but it's a 3G, and he's going to have to do half before he's eligible. The other one, same thing, going to have to do half on Hartsfield. Yeah, and
see, that's the weird thing, because when people think, well, I wanted him to get 20 years in prison, but then they only have to serve half of it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about
and
that.
Sometimes less if it's not a violent offense.
Yeah. But you don't decide that.
That is not up to me. That's up to pardon and paroles and the governor.
Yeah.
So,
and most people do not get pardoned or paroled, or they don't get paroled the first or second,
usually not,
or third time they come up. It may be a little while before they get paroled.
Correct. And a lot of real serious offenses, they tend to do more time. For example, child molesters, and rightly so.
Yeah. Murderers
tend to spend a little more time. And DWI, believe it or not, they if you get sent up on DWI, they tend to do a lot of their time.
That's good.
Yes.
So, how important is courtroom decorum and to you in your courtroom?
It's important, but I don't go too overboard. People ought to dress appropriately, but if you're poor and you come in and you're a bit disheveled, well, that's kind of sometimes there's not a lot you can do about it. So you treat it on a case-by-case basis. My bailiff, if you come in with a hat on,
take it off.
Makes you take it off, and I don't deal with that. I let
them deal with it.
I let them deal with it. But decorum is important, and
don't sit on the front row if there's a jury trial.
Yes, because
your courtroom's limited here in space.
Very limited, and only seats 8 across. It used to be a JP courtroom. That's the reason. Yeah, it was a justice of the peace.
It's small.
It's very small.
So nobody gets to sit on the front row during a jury trial because the jury has to walk past, and they need to have some barrier from everything else too.
Yeah, and security wise, it's just good.
Yeah. Do you see a time when your court and the 75th does the docket calls on screens instead of like electronic docket calls?
We did that during COVID, and
we're not set up at the jail for that though to have.
Not right now. Actually we are in some respects. Sometimes we'll do a plea by Zoom where the inmate stays in the jail. We try to bring them over, but sometimes we'll do it over there. They had a problem, and one of the inmates caught or started a fire in that video room, and so there was a time we couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's why they're undergoing all the renovations.
And one thing we do on video very often is we have court interpreters from OCA, they're certified interpreters working for the state, and when we have a Spanish speaker, a lot of times we'll have that OCA interpreter come in on the screen, swear in the witness and interpret for us, which that's very helpful.
Oh, yeah.
I've
seen them wear headphones sometimes. The defendant wears headphones so they can get the interpretation of what's going on.
If we're trying a trial in the courtroom, we have some really good interpreters, and they'll do that. Monica's one of the interpreters.
And they have to be very discreet about it because it can be disruptive if they don't.
It is almost seamless when she's interpreting. They'll have the headset. She's going real time at the time everybody's speaking.
Which is hard.
Very hard, but she is really good. And when we have that now, even though it's more difficult when you have a Spanish speaker, especially when you have witnesses testifying that don't speak English, it slows it down a little bit, but it's fairly common. We have quite a few Hispanic defendants that do not speak English.
So when did you first consider a career in law? What drew you to the judiciary?
Well, as far as law, when I was a little kid, I remember my grandfather used to laugh and said, when I asked you what you wanted to be, and you said you wanted to be a lawyer.
A lawyer?
A lawyer.
And which grandpa are we talking about?
My grandfather, C.B. Cain Sr. I'm actually a fourth generation lawyer. Two of my kids are fifth generation.
And your daughter, Ashley, is the county attorney
in Chambers County.
In Chambers County.
Yeah, she's an elected county attorney. And my other daughter works as an assistant county attorney here, Shelby. Mm-hmm. I'm really proud of my kids.
Oh yeah.
And I don't want to.
But you have two other daughters too.
I have two other daughters, and I don't want to not give equal time.
So Whitney.
Whitney is a school counselor at Barbers Hill, and Courtney, my youngest, she is a nurse practitioner. She just got licensed, and she was a RN, worked at Texas Children's, and then took the classes at UT and became a nurse practitioner. Now she's working for Chambers County Health. So I'm real happy about that for the Chambers County.
So two followed you.
Yes.
One followed Stacy.
Correct.
And the other took a different path altogether.
Altogether, went into medical.
That's funny.
I had to have somebody take care of me as I get old.
Yeah, so she'll be your nurse.
Yes, there we go.
How do you handle cases that stay with you long after court adjourns?
Oh, and there are some, right now, I can in my mind see a little 8-year-old boy with a bullet wound in his head. Mm. He was shot and killed, just a senseless
Which
shooting.
case was this?
It was a lady, there were a group of people over in 1409.
Gosh. Yeah, I remember this one.
And they were out driving their trucks and on public property, and one of the homeowners took a shotgun.
This was in Dayton.
Yeah, fired at them, and that several people were hit, but that poor little boy right in his forehead, and I just see him sitting there with his
he was innocent.
tennis shoes, and totally innocent. Most senseless killing, or one of the most senseless killings. I mean, probably the Lisa Allison murder was...
that one was another one that stayed with me for a long time.
Horrible, and poor little girl tried to defend herself, and her little fingers were broken from being...
Trying to fight back.
Yeah, being beaten and stabbed. And
I think that was... I wrote an article years ago when I worked for the Chronicle. That was the day that Liberty lost its innocence.
Yeah.
Because I remember that, we felt safe before Lisa Allison's murder. And then after that... She was taken from a car wash. She was just like home visiting,
Yeah, she was home for Easter Sunday.
Yeah, and she was a student in Las Vegas.
And she was going to go wash the car. In a sweet kid. Stacy taught her.
Yeah, they're a good family.
Great family. You couldn't find a finer child. You see those, and they're so horrible, so senseless. There are monsters out in our community.
I attended Robert Morrow's execution.
I signed the death warrant on that.
Yeah, I attended his execution. I was there.
I had no problem signing that death warrant that ordered his execution.
Yeah. I was one of the media people there that day.
Yeah.
So let's see, who has been the greatest mentor or influence in shaping how you approach justice?
I'd have to say my grandfather. He was my hero. I just, he was a great lawyer, great orator. He died when I was fairly young, but I spent a lot of time with, kids love hanging around with their grandparents. And I hung around with him, and I loved listening to all the stories and him talking about politics. And he as far as shaping me overall, I'd have to say that. But more contemporary, I had some really good judges that I got to see and emulate. And among those, Judge Carol Wilburn over in
Chambers County.
Judge Wilburn was just absolutely awesome.
Is he still with us?
No,
he's deceased.
He retired, and he was doing visiting work for me. He was a great resource, and had a heart attack and died. He was giving a speech over at Old River Baptist Church, and
He died while he was giving his speech.
well, he gave the speech and finished it, and he started walking out to the parking lot, and he was starting to feel chest pains, and he collapsed and died right there. So
sudden death, heart attack.
yeah, it was just very sad. Excellent.
That's
judge.
why my grandpa died.
That's a hard way, but I guess
it's better
merciful.
than lingering.
Yeah, it's merciful if God takes you like that. And then the other one was Judge Woods.
Dub Woods.
Yeah, Dub was. He was our county attorney for many years, and then he became district attorney. And as district attorney, Judge Woods hired Judge Wilburn. Well, of course, he was just Carol E. Wilburn at the time.
Yeah.
And so Judge Woods worked with Judge Wilburn. And then when they served Liberty and Chambers counties, and then when they created this court, the 253rd, well then Judge Woods went to the 253rd bench. He was appointed by the governor, and Judge Wilburn became the district attorney for Liberty and Chambers County. And then when they created the 344th district court, then Judge Wilburn took over that court.
Wow.
So
those are some good mentors.
Yes.
So what personal values do you rely on most when decisions before you are especially difficult?
Well, I'll say this. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus, and I believe in the Bible. Now, I don't inflict my personal religious views on anyone.
Yeah.
But, there's some basic tenets in religion that are carried through in our Constitution. And I think that keeps you pretty well grounded.
How do you maintain humility in a role that carries significant authority?
Well, every 8 years I get an opponent. And I can tell you, Denise, that'll make you humble. No, and aside from that, and it does. I'm being funny, but I'm being serious too. The people give you this ability to sit as a judge.
And they can take it away.
And they can take it away,
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that everybody has given me the opportunity to have this wonderful job. Mm-hmm. I really love it. I enjoy it. It suits me.
Yeah.
And I hope that I've earned the right to have it again from the people. But that's up to them. They'll get to decide.
So outside of the courtroom, how do you reset and maintain balance?
I've got a wonderful family.
Fishing.
I like fishing. Yeah, this is my real claim to fame, Vanessa.
Yeah.
I caught the largest fish in the state of Texas.
Did you really?
I did.
How big was it?
I still have the record. In 1992, I caught a tiger shark while fishing a tournament. It's 1,128.98 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge fish. It was a great fight, and I was wondering who was going to win for a while.
Yeah.
And we won the tournament, by the way.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and we've held that record for over 30 some odd years.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So what does service mean to you at this stage in your career?
Well, it means dedication. A lot of times people get older in their career and they start slowing down, or they start, maybe they don't quite do as much. As you can see, I'm speeding it up because I have that obligation. I have that obligation to the taxpayers.
Yeah.
I got to keep this jail as empty as I can keep it. And I'm not going to be like one of these liberal Harris County judges.
Where you're just turning people loose?
Yeah, you just turn them loose. No.
Now they become a danger to society.
Absolutely. The way to deal with overcrowding is to get the case tried and either put them on probation or send them to the penitentiary or dispose of the case in whatever justice requires. So, yeah, as here I am later in my career and I'm working more and more. But the good thing is I have the experience to do that. And I have the staff to do it. I cannot underestimate how much they have to do with my success in taking care of cases.
So as people go to the polls next March, What do you want them to know about you as they go in to make their vote?
Well, I have the compassion for people. I have the knowledge of the law. I'm good at listening. I know the law. I know our procedures. And I've worked hard for you for the last 35 years. I would love to finish this term and work hard for you for another 4 years. I mean, it is your choice as a voter, and I rely solely on you to give me that opportunity. I hope that I have earned your trust. I hope I've earned your vote also.
So we wrap up these interviews with people with rapid fire questions, and these are fun ones. And you just give me like a short answer. It can be one word or it can be just a little short statement. Early mornings or late nights?
I'm getting, as I get older, both.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of both. I don't sleep quite as long as I used to.
None of us, yeah.
I don't know what that's about.
I don't know. I woke up at 4:30 this morning.
Yeah. You know, that's just...
I just couldn't sleep any longer.
Yeah.
And I went to bed at 11. So it's like, okay,
I'm
I guess that's all I'm getting.
I'm kind of like you, Vanessa.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm kind of hitting...
That's all I'm getting today. Yeah. Strict schedule or adaptive flow?
I have a schedule. I
Yeah.
have a very strict schedule. I don't like being late, but I have to be able to
Roll with the
punches.
Yes. So efficiency or thoroughness?
You have to temper both. With this kind of caseload, unfortunately, I wish I had more time. That's why I wish I had a lower caseload, because I could spend more time. But you have to kind of get the middle ground.
Okay. Silence or background noise while working?
It doesn't matter.
You can do both?
Noise doesn't bother me.
Really?
No.
That's good.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, when you've got 60 or 70 people out there in the audience in criminal cases, you've got 8 or 9 lawyers working, trying to resolve those cases. You've got prisoners sitting in the box, probably a dozen or more. And
so you have to focus on what you're
you just focus on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, my court reporter is a little different.
Yeah.
When we're actually...
Yeah, because she can't hear.
She can't hear. And so if we're on the record now, it's got to be quiet. And she doesn't mind quietening everybody down, or the bailiff doesn't either. But short of that, I mean, Vanessa, I got 6 grandkids.
You're used to the noise.
I'm used to the noise. My wife was a teacher forever. And, just everything's going on all the time.
Most underrated quality in an attorney?
That's an interesting question. I really have to think about it. I hate to say this, but most lawyers are not paid a salary, and people just don't. And they may make a lot of money one month. They may not make as much the next month, but all their fixed costs are still there.
Yeah.
That's a hard life to balance. You run a business, so you know what I'm talking about. I would say there's a lot of pressure as a lawyer, and
So their ability to manage the pressure?
Their ability to manage the pressure. I think that's a good way to synthesize it.
Most important quality in a judge?
Patience, knowledge, perseverance, listening skills.
Hardest habit to leave at the courthouse after you go home at the end of the day?
It's hard sometimes to slow down. It really is. But, I've got a wonderful family.
Does Stacy tell you to shut it off?
Yeah. But, she's with 2 children that are lawyers.
Yeah, she's used to it.
She's gonna hear a bunch of law talk. And over the years, she just learned to deal with it.
Yeah. She'll go talk with her other daughter when she wants to talk about school stuff.
Yes. And Stacy, she is just a wonderful person. A lot of fun.
And then Courtney's like... one word your staff would use to describe you?
Tyrant. No. I don't know. You'd have to ask them. I can tell you this. They are so dedicated.
Yeah.
I don't know how they would describe me, but
they have to ask them on the way out.
You'll have to ask them on the way out. But if you ask me, I have a dedicated staff that cares about our counties, cares about our court system.
Yeah. So one word that you hope the public associates with your courtroom?
Fairness.
That's a good one. Yeah. Well, that is it. So I'm just going to end it with saying, Chap, thank you for taking the time to. Well, Judge Cain, we've known each
We've
other
been
a long
friends
time.
for a
Yes.
long
Chap,
time.
thank you for taking time to join me today and share your insight into your work. It's been fascinating to hear all the case. I had no idea about the caseload. Had no
Really?
idea it was
Yeah.
that bad.
Yeah.
I had no idea. For our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Headlines and Heartlines. I hope today's conversation gave you a clear understanding of how justice functions at the district court level and the values guiding those who are entrusted with that responsibility. For more local news, in-depth reporting, and conversations that matter to our community, visit bluebonnetnews.com. This podcast episode will be on YouTube, Spotify, and on KILE FM radio in the coming weeks. I'm Vanesa Brashier, and I will see you next time.